Okay, badge bunnies, blue falcons, donut eaters, and energy drinkers. Old retired port sitters. We're back again. Real American Blue. A show where you can hear where old retired guys can talk without an internal investigation. So pick up your power rings and coffee, sit back, and
Here we are, folks. This is supposed to be a shoot the bull session. Apparently, Rich is having some issues with emails or whatever because I send the link to him and then I sent him another link after that to show who's coming on the show next week and then who's coming on the show after that. So I think he's figured it out. So there we go.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I sent the link to this, and then
Yeah,
I
well-
did the show for our guest on the 19th, and I still got one to do for next week. So
You know, I was told at the beginning of my career, attention to detail.
yeah, I guess apparently that's not working too good.
No, I slipped up a little bit.
Yep, and that's probably because you got that commie computer.
Could be.
Yeah.
Actually, I just have to pay attention.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you retire. Shit kind of goes everywhere.
It does. Is our guest here? No.
We don't have a guest. It's
Oh,
just
I
shooting
thought
the
we had a
bull.
guest.
Nope.
Shoot the shit session.
Yep. As I told you too. I said it's just me and you doing the shoot the shit session. So apparently your old age is creeping in, and I wasn't.
Kenny Chesney did a song, "Me and You," but it won't apply to us. But good song.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to pay attention to details. That's
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Okay, got me in line. Got me in line. Let's go.
Anyway, folks. Oh, I got to turn on the ability to see if anybody asks questions.
You're
Okay, we're
dogging me.
streaming right now to X, to Rumble, and to YouTube.
Awesome.
So we'll see if anybody pops up. Some of the stuff that's been going on is the big stuff is the Iran war.
Yes.
It's not really a war. I mean, come on.
It's a house cleaning.
It is. It's a time for spring cleaning.
Yep.
And these guys, going way back, have been killing and torturing their own people, have put bounties on the heads of Americans and American servicemen all around the world. Under Obama, they captured a Navy vessel with crewmen and then took pictures of humiliating them.
Yep.
And not a damn thing was done. Nothing. And that kind of pisses me off. And all these people right now that are saying, "Oh, we don't want the war. We don't want to." Look, sometimes military actions are necessary.
Yep. For the betterment of all.
Yeah. I mean, so you're paying a little bit more in fuel right now. Look at the big picture. When it gets done and the world is a better place without those terrorists, I think it'll be nice.
Yep.
But we have a particular group of people here in the United States that have their heads up their backside, and they got Trump derangement syndrome, stage 8, and it's no, everything the guy does, they're against it. I liked it when they came out and said ibuprofen when you're pregnant, and you had all those stupid asses going out there
Yeah.
taking ibuprofen, and it came out that, yeah, you shouldn't take it while you're pregnant. So they're doing the exact opposite because their hatred is so much for this man. And I don't know. It's unbelievable. Anyway, there's been some terrorist activities going on in the United States since we started this conflict. In Michigan, at a Jewish synagogue, a guy drives a car into it. Just crazy stuff. And then, but this is all Trump's fault, right? Absolutely Trump's fault. These people, they're out there. I mean, 9/11 wasn't Bush's fault.
No.
It's the outright hatred for this country. I was talking earlier today about it. There's a Middle Eastern lady that goes around speaking. I don't know her name. She talks about the goals of Islam, taking over the West, implementing Sharia law, doing all that. And she said that's their playbook. Just like the Democrats have a playbook for cheating.
Yep.
These guys have a playbook for taking over America, and they're using the Democrats to do it. And I don't know.
There's a lot of interesting things going on in this country that unfortunately people really don't sit back, absorb it,
No.
and take note of it and think of the future. You know, there's been a lot of talk, and I'm not focusing on any one group or any people, but if you sit back and you think about the dynamics of it, you know, there's a lot of illegal individuals that come over from all countries,
Yeah.
and they have children here, and then they become citizens. Let's just talk about maybe the Chinese elitists, for example. You know, they have 100,000 over here, and they have children, and then they have children, and they're going to
Yeah.
have voting. They're going to have voting rights someday.
Yeah, and it may not be today.
Yeah,
It may not be in 10 years. It may
it's
not be in
tomorrow.
20 years.
Yep.
But because of it, America as we know it is going to be taken over.
Won't even
It
be here.
won't be around anymore.
Nope.
And all you people that say Trump's against democracy, he's a tyrant. Oh, you haven't seen shit yet.
Nope.
If you want to see it firsthand,
Come back in
Go-
about 150 years.
yeah, go sneak into Iran. Go sneak into China, or go sneak into Mexico or any other country south of the border. Go do it. See it firsthand.
Yeah.
You don't believe us, go do it. You know, they did all these a few years ago. That segment of the population was doing these stupid challenges. You know, the Tide Pod challenge where they would eat Tide Pods. You know, there's reasons for warning labels on shit. Like hair dryers, don't use it in the shower, or different things. It's because of people like this
Yeah.
that do the exact same shit because they don't think. They don't have common sense anymore. None.
Nope. They can't step back, take a breath, let it absorb, think about it, and then
Yeah.
look forward. What will be happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
There
won't
is,
be here, unfortunately. Our children may not be here. They'll be elderly, but
yeah, but they'll be well armed.
yeah.
But you know, it's funny. I got into a Facebook argument on one of the news channels. They posted about Katie Hobbs here in Arizona, Katie Hobbs and that Andre Fuente or whatever his name is, talking about they're fighting Trump's lawsuit to turn over voting records. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was some cheating going on. There's definitely
is.
cheating. There's definitely been arrests. And it's funny because they're still in denial. All the Democrats are absolutely still in denial. They're like alcoholics. You know what I'm saying? In denial. I don't have a problem. You do. You know? And
Yeah.
but you got here in Arizona in the elections, you had Katie Hobbs, who was Secretary of State, who would not recuse herself or step down from that position that she was running for governor in on the election. And there was a lot of shenanigans going on there.
Yep.
And a lot of unverified signatures that it came out now. Abe Hamady ran for attorney general against Chris Mays and only lost by a couple hundred votes. And I mean, come on. There's some real shenanigans going on.
Abe
I
was
had
a
the-
practicing attorney, wasn't he?
What's that?
Was Abe a practicing attorney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the funny thing. He was military too, but it's crazy. I had this argument on Facebook with these basement dwelling trolls that said, "Oh, here you go again with the TDS and the making accusations that there was cheating." I go, "Okay." He says, "Show me proof or shut up." And I go, "Okay, fine." Here I did. That's the beautiful thing about AI now, especially Gemini, because it scours the internet. I plugged in arrests made by political party in the 2024 election. Even the 2020 election. I think I went back that far. And there were like 6 arrests, 6 Democrats in Arizona, and then 1 Republican. And then it talked about the people that were doing the fake electorate things because they, I don't know. I didn't follow that part, but I was looking at the arrests. And they were all in southern Arizona for the most part. And they were arrested for voter fraud, voter tampering, and like all related to ballot harvesting. And guess what? There's one party that does the majority of that stuff. It's the Democrats. And right now on the national level, they seem to be panicking because of the SAVE Act,
Yep.
because of all these different things. And, you know, they're scared because the people have spoken and their party's fractured as much as that asshole Carvel and that other guy, what's his name? Chuck Schumer saying, "Oh no, everything's fine." That bullshit. It's not. They're falling apart. They know that their agenda, gender reassignments, the fraud that's going on in Minnesota and California and Chicago and New York, they're finding out real quick that people are sick of it. We're sick of the tax that we pay so you can give it. They like to pretend they're Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Well, no, they're not doing that. They're stealing from working class people. Working class slobs. They're stealing retirements from people
who built the country.
Yeah. And it's funny you should say that, who built the country. Well, if you go back a few years, I seem to recall his famous quote, "You didn't build that. You didn't build that." The fuck I did. I built it. I worked my ass off. I paid for a house, supported a family, bought stuff, paid taxes, which I still pay taxes today. And there are leeches out there that aren't paying shit and are getting free money.
Yep. I just don't
And
know how
then,
people put up with that.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And you got asshats like Gavin Newsom that are
Gavin
dis-
Newsom.
yeah, destroying that state.
Yep.
And why I get so mad that they're destroying that state is because people there are running to here. They're
Yep.
coming to Arizona and
Florida, Arizona. Yep.
Texas, Georgia,
Georgia. Yeah.
Kentucky. They're just fleeing. But we're the closest place to go that's they don't have to spend a lot of money to get here. But it's getting crazy. Even up
Well,
here in the
unfortunately,
middle of,
that's why we're a little purple, because they're not thinking,
well,
sit back, taking a breath,
yeah,
and
and
asking themselves why they fled there. They're coming here, but some of them haven't quite changed their ideologies and their thought process.
yeah, they're crazy. And they come here, they join the Democrat Party, or they say they're an independent, which they aren't. And then they try to change things. And then they say, well, I really feel sorry for the guys that snuck across the border that have kids, and we need to take care of them.
Well, I feel
And,
sorry for people too that are, I'll say, behind the eight ball, but that doesn't mean you circumvent laws, you continually give out freebies, leave the people behind that again built the place. I feel sorry for people that aren't quite up to par.
yeah, and the thing that's funny is the people on the Democrat side that are doing this, that are mandating all these rules and taxes and different things, they have not had to live paycheck to paycheck.
Nope.
They've not had to worry about where the utility bill was coming or how they were going to get to work because of the costs of fuel. They don't have to worry about that crap, and then they can sit there and smile and talk about how to eat a taco like Katie Hobbs is doing, wants to have some kind of taco eating contest with Andy Biggs. I saw some posts there about that, but
Did you see that she spent the morning with Kamala?
yeah, I'm not paying attention to her. She signed my second little retirement thing from ADOT. It's not up on the wall. Oh, it's hidden away. I just can't even look at that signature
Yeah.
because I'm like,
Some things
you
you're proud
know,
of, some things you're not.
yeah. And the stuff that I really cared about, I put up, family pictures, Bill Hanson, my buddy, my dad's picture with me.
You have a picture of me?
Katie Hobbs' signature isn't anywhere on my wall. So, with that said, what else? What else, Rich?
It's just a mess out there. I was just following the news, and again, I saw earlier in the morning, I think it was today, time flies, that, yeah, Kamala was in town in Phoenix, and spent the morning with Katie, someplace. And I'm not sure what the topic was, why she was in town, but
Yeah, it was probably going to eat a taco. There's that one Mexican place downtown Phoenix that all the presidents and Bill Clinton went there. They all went there. And it's like on 7th Avenue, south of the railroad tracks over there. La Canasta, I think.
yeah, La Canasta, yeah. I know
Yeah,
right where it is.
I remember when George Bush used to come to town and I lived over in Arcadia, 44th Street and Indian School. There was the Teepee Mexican restaurant.
Great place.
And it used to piss me off so much that they would shut everything down around it. And I lived in the neighborhood, and all of a sudden there's friggin' helicopters, there's friggin' Secret Service, SWAT teams and shit all surrounding that area. But I couldn't get out of the house. I mean, I couldn't go anywhere. So we had to just sit there and watch TV. So Yeah, it's crazy. And George Bush also used to go to. He'd stay overnight up off of Camelback at some resort up there, and they'd block Camelback. They got to do it. There's crazy
Yeah.
people out there, and they're all on the Democrat side. But I get it. I get it. Absolutely do. But sometimes wherever they go, they live in a different world. Kamala Harris lives in a totally different world. She's never had to raise a family or
Put
work,
gas in her car
put
recently.
gas in her car, go
Even pay
buy
for her own meal.
buy groceries. I mean, they're elitist, and they like to say they cuddle up to the working class or the poor people. That's all bullshit. All of it.
I went to a fast food restaurant it was about a day and a half ago. I don't remember which one it was, but my wife and I, and the bill was $31, and we basically really had nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, now it's like it's gotten to the point, and now that I'm retired, I'm on a fixed income.
yeah,
And when I was a kid, I remember hearing stories about elderly people eating cat food and going through garbage cans behind restaurants and so I hear all these stories.
and you thought, how? Why?
Yeah.
Well, now you're
And
there.
now
Up
I'm
there.
here. I'm on a fixed income. So
Well, McDonald's is cutting their prices. If
yeah,
you're
finally.
McDonald's, Yeah.
I went to the McDonald's in Williams, and it's supposed to be like a franchise, which I didn't know. You go in and there's not anybody to take your order. There's a kiosk.
Yeah,
And I ordered two Big Macs, 2 large orders of fries, and 2 medium chocolate shakes. Well, they only come
$25
once.
right there at least.
Huh?
$25 at least.
Try again. It was
30.
$42.
Wow.
$42. I was so pissed. I told him I'd never eat at a McDonald's again. And I remembered when they were like a quarter a hamburger, I mean, $42. So I haven't stepped foot in a McDonald's again. And they even offered me free food. They go, hey, come on back. We'll give you. No, screw you guys. And, it's like that. It really is. And when you're on a fixed income, that's the other thing that they need to work on because some of the other states have, and that's our guest, Terry Ann, remember?
Yep.
She's running.
Ann Holleran, right?
Yep. She's running for governor as an independent. And she talked about eliminating property tax. And we said, well, you could start with senior citizens. If you're over 65 and you have paid all your life in taxes, I mean, rich people that are wealthy, they have investments, they have this, they have that. Average working class guys don't have it. You don't have that luxury to be able to invest money and get some gray poupon and go do shit, eat escargot and all that other crap. It's hard enough to buy top ramen noodles, 10 for $1, Fuck.
And they still pay less taxes than me and you, those elitists.
Yeah, that's true.
You wonder
They
how
do.
that works out.
I don't know. But the system, what was his name? There was a black guy that ran for president. He used to be like the Herman Cain. There we go.
Yep.
He talked about a 9% flat tax across the board for everybody. And think about it. It makes sense instead of having a
Business or personal, rich or poor, 9%.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
9%.
They could kill the deficit in probably 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Well, no, they still got Democrats giving shit away. But they could 9% that he was saying. And you know, people said, "Oh, it would the Democrats would say, oh, it would benefit the rich guys." Well, guess what? 9%. You make $10. What's 9% of $10?
I'm not good at math.
What is that?
It'd be
9%?
90 cents, right? Yep.
No, that's 10%. It'd be like 80 cents or 75
less.
cents, something like that on $10.
Yeah.
Think about
Okay.
it. If a rich guy went out,
If he makes $1 million, yeah, pay a little bit.
see, then you have what they call fair tax. They don't what
Not a fair system.
yeah, what we got's not a fair system. It's screwing people over, especially people caught in the middle.
Yep.
You know, it's like they did at the sheriff's office for years. They would we always were wondering about pay as compared to other agencies, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, we'll get you more money." They raised the top,
Yep.
they raised the bottom,
Yep.
and us guys in the middle were kind of stuck. And you'd get new guys come in making 25 cents less an hour than you made, and you'd been there 7 years.
Yep.
And
Still happens.
I know, and I think that it needs to be a little fairer than that, you know. And sure, you want to entice new guys. Well, entice them, give them a signing bonus and a contract, barring they don't get in trouble, that they have to remain at that agency for 5 years, and then, you know. But if they get terminated for policy violations or what have you, they have to pay back the signing bonus. There's ways around it, but what I'm getting at is it's the same way. Poor people get elevated. They get free shit. Rich people, they don't have to really worry about it. They just move their money to some big account and make more money. But us guys in the middle,
Give themselves raises.
yeah, we get the hammer.
Yep.
And we catch it from both sides. And then, you know, it goes back many, many years here. When I got laid off from working at Allied Signal, and I was on unemployment for like the first time in my life, and I had an infant child. We just had it. We were paying rent at an apartment, 43rd Avenue and McDowell, a brand new apartment. I wouldn't live over there now, but
Yeah, not a good choice right now.
what was that? I heard a beep. Oh, anyway. Anyway, so we were living there, and there used to be a grocery store here called Mega Foods. Do you remember that?
I remember them.
I went
AJ
there.
Bayless Days, Mega Foods.
Yep. I went there, and I was grocery shopping, and I think I only had like 30 or 50 bucks total to spend on groceries, because the rest had to go to gas or had to go to utilities, the rent. Anyway, so I'm standing in line, and this guy in front of me, Hispanic guy and wife, they had the whole little belt full of stuff. Pork roast, steaks, all kinds of stuff stacked really high. And then they had a little divider, and then more stuff, alcohol, beer, other stuff. And as it's going through, it got the first group, and he used food stamps. At the time, it was food stamps. He bought it all with food stamps. And then they ran the next one through with his beer and his whiskey or his tequila or whatever it was. And he pulled out a wad of $100 bills.
Hmm.
And I'm
How
like,
does that work?
yeah, I said, fuck, maybe I ought to go out of the country, sneak back in and see what I could get for
Yeah.
free. But that's what's going on, and it
Yep.
still goes on. I mean, you
And
look
then
at,
people allow it to go on
yeah,
continuously. And
and it's Trump's fault now. It's Trump's fault. I mean, you had that great journalist, that kid, Nick Shirley, going into Minneapolis, up in Minnesota, going door to door, exposing the fraud in their system up there, billions of dollars.
I haven't heard from him lately.
Oh, he's in California exposing their fraud now.
Oh,
So,
there's no
and
fraud in California. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. The thing that's so funny
It's a way
about
of
it,
life over there.
it is how to screw your neighbor over. How you can screw him over. Yeah, let's
And their
just screw him
leaders
over.
seem very proud every time you see them on the news
Yeah,
at whatever level.
yeah. Hey, Newsom, what a clown. I mean, remember him during COVID? He was out and about, going out to lunch and everything, mandating that nobody leave their house and wear the mask. So if that isn't a king, I don't know what is. And then,
Well, he was out doing surveys and seeing what was going on out there. He had to be out and involved with his community, see
or,
what was
or,
happening.
or the more recent stuff, the entire Palisades area burning to the ground, and they did nothing. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants,
Yep.
their infrastructure, they had drained the reservoirs around there.
How long was that? A year now?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
still hardly anything rebuilt.
Yeah. Still major
And
suffering going on with that.
yeah, and the people that live in Palisades have a little bit more money than me or you. But now, because of the building permit
Yeah. They make it
process
tough.
there, fuck, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even imagine.
Mm.
That's why I like living here. It's easy. You do shit, you get it fixed, you do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a lot of money. But the thing that's happening up here is those bad policies over in that state have created a problem here in Arizona. They've created an infrastructure problem. They've created overpopulation problem, a transportation problem,
Yep.
a tax problem. Because I tried to point it out to somebody up here. If, let's say, like Chino Valley, it's got a lot of new homes put in down there, and it used to be such a tiny little town.
Very quaint.
Those new homes are selling for $500,000 on up, and $500,000 only for like a 2-bedroom house, and they're all nut to butt. They're so close together, it's like standing in a line for the chow hall in the military. They're like right here.
Well, with
And,
that said, shame on those people that buy those places. If I'm spending money on a home, I want space. And what people need to do is stand up and not buy those homes, and they'll stop building homes like that.
well, it's not that simple, because it's like politicians are in tune with the builders, and they buy this section of land from a rancher, and they go in and draw out what they want. We say, okay, these are going to be multifamily homes in this little area. You're going to have, and they're all cookie cutter. They're all look the same. Then they throw in homeowners associations and all this shit. So it kind of looks like when you're driving by a prison and it says, don't pick up hitchhikers, and you look out, that's what it looks like. It looks like a prison. It doesn't have any individuality, nothing. And then they do that, and then they allow these guys to build all those homes, sell them for outrageous amounts of money.
Yep.
That in turn drives up the property values, which drives up your property tax. So you end up getting hosed. You're getting hosed. It's almost to the point that people that grew up here aren't going to be able to afford to live here anymore.
Yeah, they need to reevaluate some of this taxation stuff because it's ridiculous. So your
Yeah.
home value goes up. Why should I be taxing more? Tax me whatever it was initially, and that should be it for the rest of the time you're there.
Yeah. And then when you get retired, like me, like you,
Should be frozen.
no, it's not. Well, you shouldn't pay any tax,
Well, we
you
shouldn't be
know?
paying taxes anyway, but
Yeah. And
wasn't that the plan when this place started?
I think so. And the crazy thing is when you or I have a bank account and we have a set amount of money that comes in, let's say $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month, whatever it is, we have to plan. We can't write checks more than what's in the bank account, or we'll get in trouble, or we'll go to jail. But the government, both the state, the local, and the federal government, write what is that old saying? They write checks their asses can't cash.
Yeah,
And then who pays for it? We do.
we
The
do.
same
With higher
guys that,
taxes.
oh
And they
yeah,
don't go to jail, but we will.
yeah. And then you do get the occasional politician that doesn't pay taxes and ends up getting in trouble, but nothing
Occasional.
ever really happens to him.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
It's like I said, those are the true elitists in the country. It's those politicians that do it forever. The Chuck Schumers that sit in office till they can't, well, until they have to start wearing Depends and it's the craziest thing you have ever seen.
I'm sure that's included free with their health care that they get.
Yeah. I mean, a military guy, you could go in the military or law enforcement or anything, do that job to the best of your ability, maybe only do it for a few years in the military and you get out. You have to pay for health care. All they have to do is one term in Congress and they get lifetime health care.
It'd
And
be nice
something's
if
wrong.
we can write our own journey and what
Yeah.
goes on throughout it.
Do you think they would actually write and vote for term limits?
No.
No, it ain't happening.
Nope.
And you could have the best guy in the world, the guy that says he's going to speak up for the people. And why I say that is that's kind of how Thomas Massey started out of Kentucky. And a brilliant guy went to MIT, built this off-grid mansion himself with all these eco-friendly things. So he ran for office because he was fighting the same fight we got. But now it's like he's in there, he's getting good money, and he's not sticking up for the people. He's making it difficult for the people.
I think any public office should be minimum wage. Let's see how many people really step up for it. Yeah,
Well,
even any private
I,
anything. Just let's see how many
I
people really
think, I
step up.
think, I think the way the founding fathers actually intended is that for everybody, every citizen to do their part, their civic duty, and run for office.
Yep.
And then you have one term. That's it. Because right now we have a government that has,
At all levels.
yeah, but they got a lot of bureaucrats there that work there in things I've never even heard about, like USAID or whatever that was. Remember, they had all that money that Doge went through and found all the fraud. They have bureaucrats in Social Security. They had people that were 150 years old collecting Social Security. And it's like, really? And that's the same thing that I tried to tell people about, like mail-in ballots, the same thing. When you do these things, you have to have a way to monitor it. You have to have teeth when it's violated,
Yep.
because like anything else, fraud occurs. Medicare fraud, Medicaid fraud, Social Security fraud. I remember some guy out in East Mesa when I was on patrol years ago. The dad or the grandfather in the house, they kept him in like a garage, and they were cashing his Social Security checks and using them for themselves, and they weren't even taking care of him. And then there's been other
And I'm
ones
sure that
where,
goes on a lot more than
oh,
we
it
all know
does.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, it goes on in Medicare. Believe me, trust me. I went to my first Medicare doctor appointment, which was some guy who reminded me of Doogie Howser, a young guy. He didn't seem to give a shit about my complaints because it's the first time I was seeing him, so I was giving him a rundown. He seemed to be in a hurry, like he wanted me to get done and leave. And he tried to sell me, which is funny. You know how you go in a car dealership? It's the same thing. Hey, look at this car. They try pushing things on you. Hey, you want the undercoating? That's this much extra. Well, he was pushing me CPAP machines and motorized wheelchairs. And that's all part of that Medicare fraud shit. And doctors get kickbacks when they do that shit. They sell it, they prescribe it or order it for their patient, even though they don't even need it. Hey, let me get you this. And we need to crack down on that shit because we're the ones paying for it.
Too many lazy people out there to stand up and fight for themselves or fight for others.
Yeah.
That's why they don't hold the jobs that myself and you held.
Yeah.
And others that we know.
Yeah. Imagine if they had the same background check, the same hiring requirements that we have to go through.
Yep.
A background.
They should have that for government offices. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know what they do for the bureaucratic side of it, but for the elected officials, holy shit.
Yeah.
Look at that Ilhan Omar, who came in dirt poor, refugee from Somalia. Now she's a millionaire.
Good investments. She made some good choices.
Or AOC, who when she first got elected, she was complaining. Yeah. She was complaining about not being able to pay rent. But then all of a sudden, boom, she's a millionaire.
Made some good choices.
Yeah. And they don't do shit for the people. Nothing. They don't care. When you ask them a hard question, they walk away from you.
Yep.
So anyway, and I was gonna say, I found out who that person was who was basically trolling Rodney on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know who that is. And from what I understand, she's like got an infatuation problem with Warren Peterson because she's been slamming me on X to the point that I had to block her. I just couldn't stand this stuff because she's only been in the country like a year or two. She came from like Denmark, and I mean, she joined the Republican Party, but she's not acting like a Republican.
Wow.
And she started really slamming me, saying I was Rodney's boy and all this stuff. And I go, look, I had him on the show. I offer it to anybody that's running for office that wants to come on the show.
We'd love to talk to everybody.
Even Katie Hobbs,
Yep.
or even Chris Mays. I'll give him an opportunity here.
Yep.
I may not like him on a personal note, but I'll still give him an opportunity. And it's like in law enforcement.
We
You
do our
know,
job. That's it.
you do your
Whether
job. You
personal,
stop somebody for doing a violation. It's not personal.
nope.
You know, here's your ticket. Tell it to the
But
judge, whatever.
again, there's very few people that do the jobs or can do the job that we did because they're just not able to separate themselves. They're not fair. They're not honest.
No, not at all. In fact,
Now, mind you, I will throw in that we do have a bad seed every now and then that
Yeah.
slips through. That's a human factor. But for the large majority, I think pretty upstanding people.
yeah, well, you know, there's an article I wrote that's on our website, realamericanblue.com. It talks about that. USA Today did a study a few years ago on bad cops, and they found that there's like out of 850,000 cops across the country, I think 3.6% were bad.
Yeah, there's a few, I'm sure. And I know.
So I compared it to the teaching industry, the teaching field. It varied from the research I did and what I could find. It varied from 29% to 35% teachers getting in trouble. And you know what the number one thing was?
I'm going to go sexual abuse type things.
Yep, that was it. Sex with students, number one.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because teachers are the ones out there, not all of them, but there's a majority of them out there that you see at these protests that hate Trump, that hate cops.
Well, they don't want to
and
get
they're out-
uncovered.
Yeah.
No pun
And
intended there, but
you're saying that a person like an ICE agent or a public school instructor, ICE agent with a really low percentage of being bad as compared to a teacher with a higher percentage, what was it, 29 to 35%? I said it's on the website. And it's crazy. You know, it's absolutely crazy.
they should have to do a polygraph test before becoming a teacher, have a bank of questions just as a law enforcement officer must answer. There should be a bank of questions almost similar because
like-
obviously what we're entrusted with duties, that they're raising these children per
Yeah.
se. They should go through, or let's start implementing background checks now on them and polygraphs and see how many
Well,
bail before
I
that
guess
occurs.
they've been starting to do that, fingerprint cards and stuff.
Yeah,
but
but what does that
there's-
do?
Yeah, I mean, they've still come out and said they've still come out and gotten in trouble with stuff because it still comes out. You see it in Phoenix in the
Yeah.
metro area happen all the time. A male teacher, a female student, a female teacher, and a male student. And then it's the craziest thing.
Yep.
But then you'll get the one cop that does something bad, and all cops are bad.
Yep.
And, you know, I was telling somebody the other day that there's nobody tougher on bad cops than other cops.
Yep.
Nobody tougher. So it just kind of pisses me off. And even county attorneys have issues because there was one where some county attorney, I saw a little bit on it, you might know more, where it involved jewelry and the theft of jewelry or something, a county attorney down in Phoenix.
Not ringing a bell.
But I saw something the other day on it. But there was a county attorney back when I was working who got in trouble using a gas key, those little keys for filling
Yeah.
up our patrol cars.
I think it's called a pro key.
Yeah, he had one of those and he was filling up his BMW. He got in trouble. I mean, crime crosses everything.
Yep.
And you need to hold people accountable.
Yep.
And I think at this point, we need to be fair and impartial doing those things. You know, it's crazy how they do this and get away with it. I can tell you, if I was younger, raising kids, and I found out there was a piece of shit teacher in there doing that to one of my kids, yeah.
Call Tony or Vinny.
No, actually, you know, it was funny. We joked about it once because that actually happened with somebody that worked at the office and my daughter. We talked about it because he was kind of grooming her, my youngest, when she was young. And I ended up getting an injunction against him. And then they ended up firing him or charging him or something. And people were asking me about it. They say, "Hey, Curly, if there's anything I can do for you," I go, "Well, I want a 300." What was it I said? 300 Lapua with one round. That's all I wanted. And they all laughed and everything. I kind of chuckled too. I wouldn't do anything like that, but you got to think about it. You know, you screw the guy's family, especially the kids.
Yep.
Brother, there's no place on this earth that you can hide. And then you start screwing with a cop's kid, it's going to be ugly. Anyway, what else?
There's so much we can get into. I wouldn't even know where to start. Gosh, with everything going on locally and internationally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we don't sit here, put on a video and then critique a video or anything like that. We just shoot the shit. I mean, I was thinking the other day, that show that I wanted to try to do, like the Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about it? Where you have, what is that? The Hollywood Squares is only 9 people.
Yep.
And you have one person asking the question, me or you, and you'd go, John, you know, from Florida PD or wherever the hell it was. You go, what was the strangest thing you ever had to seize as evidence?
Ooh.
And then ask them, you know, and see where it goes. And have a series of questions, maybe 8 questions, run the show, make it good, funny.
And did you need gloves in order to pick it up and bag it?
Well, you know, it's funny that I can actually answer that question. I think I have on another deal where I had a homeless guy out in East Mesa who shoplifted a penis pump from the castle.
I was going to say,
got
it wasn't fries.
No, they don't sell them. I know. I look for them there. No, but it was funny, and it was hilarious, the court case on it.
Oh.
But yeah, it had to be put into evidence for the case, and then it got released back to the adult bookstore, the Castle Boutique. It was the funniest thing. Well, no, there's been funnier ones, but that was pretty funny.
Now, hopefully the judge didn't hit him with too bad of a sentence and stiff him.
Stiff him, literally. Yeah, and it was funny because the judge at the time was Judge Johnson out in East Mesa. He's a Mormon judge. That thing, and the guy represented himself. And we had a prosecutor in there, a county prosecutor. That everybody in the courtroom was laughing. Everybody. Because the security guard testified. And he was trying to be kind of cop-like, the security guard. He goes, "Yeah, I saw the subject enter the front door of the Castle Boutique on Apache Trail and blah, blah, blah. He went down through the lesbian section and up through the bondage section and over to the gay male section or something like that. And the judge is sitting there with his mouth hanging open. And then the county attorney's trying to keep a straight face. He goes, then what? I saw him proceed to reach for a Magnum Man penis pump,
And conceal it.
conceal, yeah, and conceal it and start for the front door. I immediately gave chase and could not apprehend. It was funny. And then he has cross-examined by the guy representing himself who stole the penis pump, who goes, so did you actually see me put the penis pump under my shirt type of thing? I mean, it was just, the whole courtroom's laughing and judge is just there. Wow. Because the other thing about it that made it funny was Judge Johnson, if you knew him, he was Mormon. So hearing these kinds of things in his courtroom was probably a new experience.
Not daily conversation he may deal with.
Yeah. It was just hilarious. It was probably one of the highlights of an arrest. And we all have them. So having a Hollywood Squares type of game show on here would be great.
Well, it brings to mind a thought. Maybe we should try reaching out, because I know both me and you know them, a retired judge, see if we can get them on and talk about some of the craziest stories or cases that they've dealt with for prosecution.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of good.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to have a DUI attorney on here, a defense attorney, to educate some of the guys on the sworn side that go for DUIs and to hear what they have to say, what they look for flaws in the case and that kind of thing. I thought a DUI attorney. Then I thought having a guy on that's the Office of Highway Safety, the guy in charge of Arizona to come on that do the grants for the DUI task force. You know, let's have some stuff on here that actually impact the average American.
Yep.
And DUIs is a big thing. I mean, your life can be totally destroyed over a DUI.
May he rest in peace. But did you ever know Alberto Gutierrez?
Yes.
Great man.
Great
Man. I would have loved to have had him on the show, but yeah, I met him several times in the past. Had the opportunity to work with him 15, 20 years ago. Yeah.
I did when he was would do the East Valley DUI task force. We'd go out there and we'd do that. And he would be out there and I'd shoot the shit with him. And then
there's a leader. There's a high level guy that's out there with the troops nights and weekends and holidays. You don't find that with many leaders nowadays. You don't find them out there with their troops nights and weekends and holidays. They're the Monday through Friday, if they even make it to work 20 hours a week, and do the job. Yeah. But then they crucify their folks for doing minor little things.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I can go on and on that topic.
Oh yeah. But I met him out at the East Valley DUI task force. I worked a couple of years, and what a great guy. He's pro cop all the way.
Yep.
I met him again when we did one up at ADOT at the enforcement building in Kingman. He came in and we talked, and I told him, and he actually remembered working at East Valley DUI task force.
And if I'm correct, the beginning of his career was at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
I don't know if that was his first law enforcement job or second, but I believe at the beginning of his career, somewhere he was affiliated with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, I know that He was a down to earth guy,
Yep. Very
pro
approachable.
law.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Great man.
And
Great
I
man.
don't know who the guy is now that replaced him.
No.
But it would be good if you can get him to come on the show. We can talk about it. Maybe
I know some folks that do make contact with that office. I will reach out to them and see what we can do. Absolutely. And I
what was
also have an
that?
attorney in mind that I'm going to reach out to.
Oh, for DUI stuff or criminal defense?
Yeah.
Well, you got to reach out to that other attorney down there. What's his name? I can never pronounce it correctly. It's BALZ. You ever hear of
No,
him?
not ringing a bell.
His first name Harry.
Not ringing a bell.
Did you get that last name?
Blaze?
BALZ.
Oh, no. Oh, I got it. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat it on the air. Well, with that said, I think we need to wrap it up.
Well, we're almost
But I
there.
like that. You tried to lure me in. Attention to detail. I caught it.
Yeah, you. It took you a while though, and
Oh, yeah.
you say I'm growing old. I'm taking naps and shit where I'm not.
Yeah.
I still have a pretty sharp mind, and I can still do stuff. Which reminds me, next week's show will be back on Sunday, folks, and
And
it's
happy
gonna
Easter
be
to all.
what's that?
And I said a happy Easter to all. Tomorrow.
The guy that's coming on next week. Hang on. I'm a little more technical than my co-host here because I use the calendar. So hang on. Crap. Where'd he go?
Yeah, see?
It's here. I save everything. So, his name is Jim Ross. And his wife's name is Shelley, I guess. And he wrote a book on Route 66, the history of Route 66. He's written other books.
A lot of history with Route 66 for sure.
And this studio is Studio 66 because it is right off Route 66.
Yep.
And so we're going to have Jim and his wife or gal pal Shelley on, and they're going to be talking about Route 66 and why is that important? Because this year is the 100th anniversary of Route 66, 100 years old.
Wow.
Not quite as old as some of the politicians still in Congress, but it's 100 years old. So there's a lot of events that are going on. There's an event at the museum in Ash Fork, a car show or different things. And in Seligman, they're doing the same thing. And Seligman's
Wow.
also the fun run. So Route 66, Arizona has the longest stretch of the original Route 66. It's right by my house and heads all the way over to Kingman, which is almost 100 miles. And the original Route 66 coming up, they're having car shows, different things, but they have what they call the fun run, where they're going to be driving all these old cars, hot rods, sports cars, everything, Beverly Hillbilly trucks like in Ash Fork, stuff like that.
That
And
they still
everybody's
use.
going to go party in Kingman at the end. And if you go online, I mean, everywhere along Route 66, these small towns, and from here, Williams, Arizona, then there's a break because of the freeway, then Ash Fork, then Seligman, then Peach Springs, and then you go on to Valentine, Hackleberry, and then further, and it goes through Kingman, and then it goes to Oatman, where all the wild burros are roaming, and then it goes all the way into California from past that point. I don't know if you want to go that far because I wouldn't, not to California,
No.
but
Stop at the border.
Route 66. But the next weekend, on the 19th of April, live here on Real American Blue, we're going to have
A great guest.
a great guest, a true patriot, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. He lives in Texas. He's very active. He was a congressman. He's going to be on the show. And we're going to be talking about the state of the United States right now and how we can do things to change it, to respect law
involved.
get involved, how to show more respect for law enforcement officers, respect for the law.
Military.
Oh, which I can't remember what button it is. Hang on.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
There we go, folks. Yeah, so we got to fix that. The lack of
Yeah.
respect for the law. We got to fix it.
Lack of
It-
respect for the country is going about right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, those are the guests that are going to be on the show, folks.
Well, I'll be there.
Yeah, it'll be good. And Colonel Alan West right here on Real American Blues. So that's it.
Okay. Sounds good.